Alright, welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a fully functional application using Bubble, where you upload an image and AI generates you a narration, and you also have a text where someone is speaking back to you. So we're using the text to speech, and we're also using the text generation from OpenAI. As this loads, I will show you. So, you could be on holiday somewhere, you can upload an image of what you want to do, and the AI can give you 3 facts about it and read it back to you. So let's see this. So we have a transcription here, and let's hit play.
This stunning image represents the natural beauty of New Caledonia,
And just like that,
area around
it reads it all to us. So let's get straight into it, guys. So the first thing I need to do is create a new page here. And what we're going to call that is, let's just say tour, doesn't matter. And what I've actually gone and done here, guys, is I'm not going to worry about setting up the UI in this video. I'm going to actually allow you guys to copy and paste it. It's just going to save us a whole lot of time, but we will go through. So I'll leave a link in the description to the actual section which you need to copy and paste like this. All right. Once you've gone ahead and copy and pasted it, let's actually set up the database first before we get into the APIs and all that other stuff. So the first thing we need to go is to the database, and we need to add in some option sets here. Now for that loader to actually appear based on whatever it is happening, we need to have a new option set called status. And we're going to add 3 new options here, and it's going to be complete, pending, and we're going to have the last one of failed. Alright, now basically all these actually just control the UI of our app. So that little loader that popped up, when such and such is pending, that will show. Alright, now moving on to our data types. We need to have a new data type here, and let's just say tour guide for this sake here. Alright, now what fields do we need? So we need an image, as a user is uploading an image for that actual transcription. So let's set this to an image. We need a narration file. So that is basically the actual speech that's returned from OpenAI's text-to-speech. That is going to be a file. We need the narration text, which is basically that transcription that's also returned from OpenAI. That's text. And then the last thing we need is a status. And that's going to be of our newly created option set type status. All right. Now on the database section, that is all we need. It's very simple. I'm going to go to the plugins here, and I'm just going to delete this one. So I'll set it up with you guys. All right. Now make sure while we're here, you go ahead and install the Circle Music Player plugin. It's by Bubble, and that's actually what's going to allow us to play that audio file. Alright, now let's get into the API setup, the actual sort of the nooks and crannies of this application. So the first one we're going to set up here in the API connector, make sure you install that as well. We're going to go to the OpenAI documentation here, and we need to go to the text-to-speech. No, we're going to go to the vision first. So this is what's actually going to read the image that we upload and give us that sort of transcription. Alright, so let's set this up first. So we're going to add another API here, and this is going to be called OpenAI. It's going to be a private key in header, authorization, and we're going to go bearer. And then what you actually want to do is navigate to your dashboard, your API keys, and we have a few different ones here. I'm going to create a new secret key, and we're just going to call this tour. I'm going to copy that, and then we can paste that like that in here. And we're going to add a shared header here, guys. And this is going to be content type. And it's going to be application JSON. Just like that. Alright, now, once that is set up, just go ahead and follow along exactly what I did. Then we can get into the actual call here. So the first one we're going to call is vision. We're going to use this as an action because we're using it in the workflow. And we want to post because we're sending data to OpenAI. Right, so back in the docs here. We want to go to the vision. All right, now let's actually copy from this curly brace down to this bottom curly brace here. Go ahead and copy that. I'm going to paste that in here. And now we need to make a few values dynamic here. So the text, so this could be a prompt. We could say this, whatever we want it to be. But for the video's sake, I'm just going to say, you are a tour guide with vast local knowledge. I want you to give the user 3 facts about the place or destination. Alright, we can actually hard code that in there. Alright, but for this URL, we need this to be dynamic here, guys. So what we actually want to do is from inside the quotation marks, we're going to add a couple of carets like this, and we're going to say URL. All right, now that's going to be our URL. So what I actually should have done there is I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to copy and paste this again, just because we need that actual image URL, just for example's sake. So let's keep going back. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. We can go back to the documentation here, and I'm just going to copy this image URL here. I just need that just to initialize the call. Alright, we're going to paste that in, and let's untick private. Alright, now let's give this, what are we missing here? Alright, yeah, so we need to post this to a URL. So back in the documentation, you can see that this is the URL we're posting it to. Copy that. Let's paste that in there. And now let's give this an initialize, guys. See how we go. Alright, let that load. Alright, now let's go to show raw data. And as you can see, here are 3 fascinating facts about the wetlands which this image appears to depict. So the image I've uploaded is a wetlands image. I'll show you what that looks like. I'll just copy that. Just like that, a wetlands image. Alright. So let's go back and let's hit save on that. And now let's collapse this. And the next one we need to do here is the text-to-speech. So back in the OpenAI documentation, I'm going to go down to the text-to-speech capabilities here. And we basically need to set up the exact same thing that we did for that previous call. So let's go ahead and copy this URL that we're posting to. We're going to change this to text-to-speech. Going to be used as an action. We're going to post it. And let's paste that in. Alright, and now the next thing we need to do here is go back to the documentation and let's copy in from that curly brace to this bottom curly brace here. And we're going to paste that in. And we need to make this input in here dynamic, guys, because we're basically what we're doing is the input for this is going to be that narration text that was just returned from the vision. So here are the 3 fascinating facts, because we need the actual AI to read that back to us. So let's say prompt. And then just for this example's sake, we're just going to say anything you want just to get this initialized. And we need to actually change this up here to a file here, guys. Just like that. And let's initialize this. Make sure you have the quotation marks in the text there. Let's initialize. Alright, as you can see, we have a body here. But you can see, you guys, it's actually returned as text. And remember, on that data type we created, the narration file was actually of type file. So we need to change this here to a file. And that's actually going to allow us to save that as a file and then play that in that music player. So let's go save. Alright, now all of our API calls are set up. Let's go back to the UI and let's focus on getting this ready. So I have two groups here. On the left, and one's input, on the right is output. So on group input, let's actually get this started here. So button describe this image. We're going to add a workflow here, guys. The first thing we're going to do is create a new thing. That new thing is going to be a tour guide. I'm going to add all fields here. The image is going to be the picture uploader inputs value. And the narration file we don't yet have. The narration text we don't yet have. But the status is going to be pending because something's happening. We've hit that button and it's underway. But we don't have the narration text and file yet because we haven't made that call to the vision and the text-to-speech APIs. All right. Now, the next thing we need to do, guys, is you need to actually have a premium plan for this. So you can upgrade to a 2-week free trial and you can cancel at any time you want. So you navigate to the settings here, you go change plan, and you start the 2-week free trial. Just like that. And then we need to actually enable backend workflows. That's why we need to upgrade this plan in this video's sake. So you go to the API section and you want to tick that there, enable workflow API and backend workflows. All right. Now, what we're going to do is, I've just refreshed my page. That's helpful. All right. So what we want to do now is we need to actually schedule an API workflow. So we need to go to the custom events and schedule API workflow. Now let's navigate to the backend workflows here. And we're going to add a new API workflow. And this is going to be called tour guide. We're going to untick to expose this as a public API workflow. And we're going to add a new parameter. And that's just going to be tour. And the type is going to be tour guide because we're creating that new data, that thing on the front end. We're sending it to the back end. So we need to set this to a tour guide to receive all that data and then allow things to happen on the back end. It all makes sense. So that's done. All right. Now what we need to do here is this is where we're actually going to make our calls to our OpenAI setup. So the first one we want to do is the vision because we need that prompt for the text to speech. The body URL is going to be, now we need to change some things here, guys. So we want to say https ... semicolon tours images URL, just like that. All right. Now, the next thing we need to do here is we need to do the actual text to speech here. So this is going to be the, what's talking back to us. So once we've already made that call here, we've initialized that. The prompt now is going to be from step 1. So we're going to say the result of step 1, OpenAI's vision, body choices, first items, message content, and we're going to format that as JSON safe, just so OpenAI can read that fine. And then data, we're going to make changes to a thing. That thing is going to be a tour. We're going to add all the fields here, guys. The image is going to be tours image. All right, now the narration file is going to be the result of step 2's OpenAI's text to speeches body. And if we hover over that, that resolves because it evaluates to a file. The narration text is going to be the result of step 1, OpenAI's visions, body choices, first items, message content, the exact same thing we referenced before. And the status is going to be complete. All right, once we have all them set up, you can see they're all blue, they've all resolved. We can actually navigate back to the front end here. And we need to now just set up this workflow. So we're changing that to a tour guide. And we need to send this data. So this is what I was saying here. We've created the new tour guide. And on the back end, it's set up as a tour guide as well, because as you can see in this grey writing, it's expecting a tour guide. So we can just reference the result of step 1 here, and because that's a tour guide what we created there. All right, and the scheduled date is going to be current date and time. All right, now let's add one more step. Go to navigation, go to page. The destination is going to be the tour page. We're going to send more parameters to the page, and the key is just going to be tour. And we're going to reference here the result of step 1, so the newly created tour guides unique ID. Alright, now all our workflows are set up, guys. We are nearly ready to go. The next thing we need to do is go back to the front end and add the conditionals so elements display and, works properly. So on the group input, I'm going to open that up. Now the image group picture here, you all have this, guys, on yours. What we want to do here, the condition is going to be, so when we upload an image, so as you can see in my example here, this image here is not the actual picture uploader's value because it just sort of looks ugly and it doesn't resolve and you can't see it properly. So we have two groups here. I'll open this. We have two. So I've got this set up so when you upload that image in the picture uploader, it'll actually just show it in an image input, so it makes it look a lot nicer. But what we need to do here is actually set a custom state just to save the image on the page so we can display it in that nicer element. So on the actual tour page, let's add a new custom state. It's going to be image, and the state type is going to be of image as well. And then back on the picture uploader input, we're going to right click and we're going to say start edit workflow. When a picture uploader input's value is changed, we are going to set the state of an element. It's going to be the tour and that newly created thing we just made. And it's going to be this picture uploader's value because it's an image. And now let's go back to the picture uploader input. And let's say when tours image, so that newly custom state, is empty, this element is visible. And now on the actual image input, let's say when tour image is not empty, this element is visible. So an image is uploaded and it's then not empty, this shows. When it is empty, this is not shown, and this is shown to upload an image. Now on the image input, we're just going to set a dynamic image here to the tours image, just like that. Alright, now once we have that, our input group is ready to go. We need to just set up our output here. So let's start. We have three groups. We have group pending, group loading, and group results. So for group pending, we're going to say here on the conditions, when get tour, and we're going to change that to a tour guide, from page URL is empty. So when there's no data, it's a waiting instruction. And where are we getting this from? Well, on this, we're setting that parameter tour. So that's basically everything wrapped up into a unique ID. We're sending that, and that's the parameter name there, which is tour. So get tour from page URL is empty. This element is visible. Let's close that. Let's move on to group loading. When get tour from page URL is, we're going to say get tour from page URL is empty on group loading. Get tour from page URL status is pending. So that's why we created that status thing before, guys, as I was saying, to sort of show and display the UI. So get tour from tour guides, page URL. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's just delete this. Let's say when get data from page URL, the tour, it's going to be a tour guides. Status is pending. This element is visible, ticked. Let's hide that. And then on the group results, we actually need to set up a few different things here. So the group results, we need to get that unique ID from the page URL. So as I said, guys, it actually sort of bundles it all together, and this is how we reference it. So when get tour, let's delete this, I'll say it again. When get data from page URL, tour, and the type is a tour guide because that's what we created. Status is complete. This element is visible, tick. And then what we need to do here is set this up in here. So On this parent group, we have a type of content needs to be tour guide, and it's going to be parent. It's going to be the parent group's tour guide. So on this, we need to set this to our tour guide. And it's saying this for me, guys, because I created the new data type for the video's sake with the capital T and not a lowercase t. So it's just making me go and change all this. All right, so once we have that group results, tour guide type of content, to get the tour from the page URL. And then this type of content is going to be tour guide as well. And this is going to be the parent group's tour guide. So that's resolved. This is going to be the parent group's tour guide's narration text, because that's the text that we need to display. And then on this, we need to also change this to a tour guide, and then that will resolve to the parent group's tour guide. On the actual music player element, this is going to be the parent group's tour guide's narration file. Remember how I said we need to save it as a file so we can reference this and actually play it. And then I think we could be ready to go here, guys. Let's give this a preview and see how we go. Alright, so I'm going to upload an image. As you can see, that newly created image element here has resolved nicely. Now let's hit describe this image. And that's pending, so we have that generation in progress, as you can see there, guys. It's loading because we need to show the user something, because this takes a while. We're connecting a couple of services up here, so we need to show the user that something is happening. And this will load. As you can see there, we have the transcription here, guys. Let's press play and see if it all works.
This stunning location appears to be the Isle of Pines,
There we go.
de Pins in New Caledonia. Here are 3 interesting facts about this beautiful destination. 1. Natural landscapes. The Isle of Pines is renowned for its breathtaking...
Alright, just like that, guys. That is how you basically set up a sort of pocket tour guide in Bubble.io. I hope this was helpful and sort of showed you how you can sort of utilize AI in your Bubble applications. It's really sort of simple once you get your head around it. If you have any questions, make sure you comment down below. Leave some video suggestions as well. I'm happy to do whatever you guys want. Make sure you subscribe to the weekly newsletter, as it's weekly tips and tricks that aren't on my YouTube channel about no code and how to help your Bubble journey. Like, subscribe and comment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.